We all love a simple solution. That's why Made in USA is such a powerful slogan. It promises jobs, prosperity, and patriotism all in 4 words. But real life isn't that simple. Global trade is more like a tangled plate of spaghetti than a soaring eagle. The idea that tariffs will magically bring back American manufacturing is frankly wishful thinking. Tariffs are more like a sledgehammer to a delicate ecosystem. They make imports pricier, but that cost ripples through the entire economy. Suddenly everyone from big corporations to tiny shops feels the squeeze. The promise of bringing jobs home crashes into the reality of how things are actually made today. Before we get swept up in slogans, let's look under the hood. What is a supply chain? Why is it so hard to move? And who really pays when tariffs hit? The story of Made in USA is far more complex and interesting than any catchphrase. And it all starts with something as simple as a jigsaw puzzle. Meet Le Puz, a company that's more than just jigsaw puzzles. They're a testament to creativity, quality, and the complexities of modern manufacturing. A Brooklyn company making quirky, high-quality jigsaw puzzles. Each design is a vibrant piece of art, carefully crafted to challenge and delight puzzle enthusiasts. They design in the US, bringing together talented artists and designers in their Brooklyn office to brainstorm and create these unique puzzles. But manufacture in China, a decision driven by necessity and the search for specialized capabilities. Because only there could they find a factory able to handle their custom requests. The intricate designs and unique shapes demanded a level of precision and flexibility that was hard to come by. Then, a 20% tariff hit. An unexpected blow that threatened to unravel their carefully constructed business model. Suddenly, their business model was in jeopardy. The increased costs put immense pressure on their profit margins, forcing them to re-evaluate their entire operation. The simple solution? The obvious answer seemed straightforward enough. Move production to the US. Bring the manufacturing process back home and support American jobs. But it wasn't remotely that easy. The reality was far more complex than a simple relocation. American factories are set up for mass production, geared towards efficiency and large-scale output. Not the bespoke, high-touch work Le Puz needs. Their puzzles require a level of craftsmanship and attention to detail that's not typically found in large American factories. No US partner could match the customization or flexibility. They searched far and wide but couldn't find a domestic manufacturer that could meet their specific needs. It's not that Le Puz doesn't want to manufacture here, they genuinely want to support American manufacturing. They'd pay more to do it. They were willing to absorb the higher costs associated with domestic production. But decades of globalization have shaped the manufacturing landscape in profound ways, have created specialized hubs overseas that can't be easily replicated. These hubs have developed unique expertise and infrastructure over many years. You can't just wish a new, highly skilled factory into existence. Building a capable manufacturing facility from scratch is a monumental undertaking. It takes time, years of planning and development are often required. Investment and expertise, significant capital and specialized knowledge are essential. That, in some industries, simply isn't here anymore. Decades of offshoring have eroded the domestic manufacturing base in certain sectors. The real dilemma, it's not about patriotism. While supporting American-made products is a worthy goal, it's about practical reality. It's about the complex realities of global supply chains and specialized manufacturing capabilities. Trade debates often miss this point. The nuances of manufacturing and the intricacies of global trade are often overlooked in political discussions. For many companies, the choice isn't between Made in China and Made in USA. It's not always a simple either-or decision. It's between making their product at all or not making it. For some businesses, overseas manufacturing is the only viable option for survival. Why can't we just make it here? It seems simple enough, right? Why rely on distant lands and complicated logistics when we could produce goods locally? Because a supply chain isn't a simple chain at all. It's a global web, an intricate network of interconnected processes and dependencies that spans continents. Take something as seemingly simple as making a puzzle. It means sourcing art, ink, and paper, but also cardboard, glue, the specialized dyes used for cutting the shapes, and the plastic for wrapping. Each of these materials often comes from different corners of the world, optimized for cost and efficiency. The ink, for example, might come from India, where specialized chemical plants produce it at scale. The cardboard might be sourced from Europe, known for its sustainable forestry and advanced paper mills. The precision machinery used to cut the puzzles might come from Japan, renowned for its engineering excellence. And the plastic wrapping could be from yet another country, specializing in polymer processing. It's a global ballet of logistics, a carefully choreographed dance of ships, trucks, and planes. It's a system with dozens of components converging, each playing its part to create just one finished product. Forcing a company to go it alone in the US, to isolate production within national borders, means rebuilding an entire ecosystem from scratch, duplicating infrastructure and expertise that already exists elsewhere. If the right suppliers, with the necessary specialization and scale, simply don't exist here, they'd have to be created, an almost impossible task, especially for a small business with limited resources. The tariff argument often pretends that products are neatly categorized as either made in China or made in USA, a simplistic view of a much more complex reality. But the reality is a messy, interconnected stew, a blend of components and processes from all over the globe. Disrupting even one seemingly small part of this intricate system inevitably affects all the others, creating ripple effects across the entire network. You can't just pull one thread, isolate one component without tangling the whole plate, creating unforeseen consequences and disruptions. Demanding companies move production, relocate factories, ignores the deeply rooted, highly efficient systems that have been carefully built and optimized over decades. The global supply chain isn't just complicated, it's an essential, vital part of our modern world. Suppose a company like our puzzle maker does decide to move its production to the US. It's a big decision, often driven by a desire to support local economies or to gain a competitive edge. Now they can proudly use the Made in USA label, right? It seems straightforward, but the truth is far more nuanced, not so fast. The globalized world of manufacturing has complicated things considerably. Even American-assembled products, those bearing the Made in USA label, are often built from a complex web of global parts. Consider this. Most US-made puzzles, for instance, rely on high-quality European cardboard for their construction, and precision-cutting dies sourced from China. This isn't about cutting corners. It's because those specific suppliers have become the best, most efficient, and most reliable at what they do, offering unparalleled quality and precision. So even if Lapuz diligently found a US factory willing to take on the job, they'd still inevitably need to import key materials from overseas, materials that are now increasingly subject to tariffs, adding another layer of complexity and cost. It's a lose-lose situation. Either pay tariffs on finished goods imported directly from China, or face tariffs on the raw materials needed to manufacture those same goods domestically. Trade policies often operate under the assumption that products are purely national in origin, but the reality is that most goods are international hybrids, the result of complex global supply chains. Take, for example, a car assembled in Detroit. It might very well have a high-performance engine manufactured in Mexico, and a sophisticated transmission system engineered and produced in Japan. Similarly, a cutting-edge smartphone designed in a California tech company is almost certainly built using components and parts sourced from factories all over Asia. So when you see Made in USA, it usually signifies that the final and often most expensive stage of assembly happened within the United States. But it doesn't necessarily mean that every single screw, bolt, and electronic chip originated from American soil. And that distinction matters a great deal when we consider the true origins and composition of the products we buy. Ultimately, the Made in USA label is often more about marketing and consumer perception than it is about reflecting the complex realities of modern manufacturing. And that reality, without a doubt, is undeniably global. Let's say Lapuz overcomes every hurdle and starts making puzzles in the US. There's still a huge obstacle, the learning curve. Chinese factories have decades of experience and efficiency. They're the black belts of puzzle making. A new US manufacturer is a white belt, just starting out. Early batches will have problems, colors off pieces, not fitting cuts, not clean. It's not about American workers being less skilled, it's about experience and repetition. Mastery takes time, and small brands can't afford to risk their reputation on subpar products. Chinese manufacturers have already made and learned from all the mistakes. You can't flip a switch and expect instant quality and efficiency. Building expertise takes years investment and trial and error. For a small business, that means higher costs, lower quality, and big financial risk. In consumer goods, the short term is often all that matters. Tariffs don't just hit manufacturers and consumers, they ripple through entire communities. Lapuz isn't an island, it's the center of a small economic universe. Artists, designers, photographers, web developers, warehouse workers, all depend on LaPouse's success. Then there are the small independent shops selling their puzzles, already operating on thin margins. If LaPouse raises prices to cover tariffs, those shops face tough choices: absorb the cost or pass it to customers who might walk away. Suddenly, a tariff isn't just a tax on imports, it's a threat to artists' commissions, photographers' gigs, and the survival of local shops. The collateral damage is real, but often invisible. The US toy manufacturing industry employs about 5,600 people, but the retail sector selling those toys employs over 128,000. A policy that saves a handful of factory jobs could destroy far more in retail, logistics, and creative services. The impact of tariffs is far wider than most realize. It's not just about price tags, it's about livelihoods. So where does that leave us? With a puzzle, complex, interconnected, and not easily solved. Made in USA hides a world of global supply chains, steep learning curves, and ripple effects that touch everyone from artists to shopkeepers. Tariffs aren't always bad, and American manufacturing matters, but we need to be honest about the costs and complexities. We can't unscramble the global economic omelet with a slogan or a quick policy. The real challenge is supporting American workers in a way that fits the reality of the 21st century economy. That means thoughtful policies, investment in skills, and helping small businesses navigate global markets. The person selling the puzzle in Ohio is just as important as the one making it. Simple answers to complex problems are tempting, but they rarely work. The real price of a simple solution is paid by real people, in real businesses, trying to survive in a complicated world.